Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Kelly Kraft gains national attention for comments she made regarding transgender students. And leaders in Floyd County discuss how some new grants for flood recovery will impact their community.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, 6:01. I'm Dakota Makris. It is Thursday, and I had me a time getting out of bed this morning. Let's take it over to Brandon for a look at that forecast. I woke up at, I'm gonna tell myself, which I do all the time, at 3:34 this morning. And I thought, I'm not gonna make it, but I did. So
at 3:34, I was getting in the car to come over here.
Well, Brandon, I'm sorry you live, 45,000 hours away. And
or 30 minutes, but whatever.
And I live 5 seconds away.
I'm sorry.
I have time.
That's right.
But you also have to forecast. I don't have to do that. I just have to read scripts and do this.
Exactly. All right, let's get talking about what's going on today. Currently, let's start with some temperatures this morning. And they're not too bad. We're 40s, 50s, and 60s out there. Only 160 left now, unless you go back towards central Kentucky. Lexington at 61, but Monticello's our 61 here. In the mountains, we're looking at 46, the cool spot there in in Clintwood, followed by 49, Grundy and Irvin, and 47 in Ashland. And then everybody else, for now, is in the 50s. Moorhead close to 60 as well this morning. 66 down toward Clarksville, Tennessee, right there on the Kentucky-Tennessee border. 67 Nashville, Paducah, 64 Carbondale, but 47 in Cincinnati and 53 in the Tri-Cities. So a lot of cooler air in the eastern counties. What is today's forecast? For $400, it is going to be in the low 80s. Forgot to change that number. That's my fault. But the forecast is correct. What is increasing clouds and late rain chances there? 82, the actual forecast high. Dakota?
Brandon, thank you. Republican candidate for Governor Kelly Kraft is getting national attention after comments she made Monday. The comments during a telephone town hall were about transgender issues, especially related to schools, which is a hot button issue this year. Kraft said, quote, under Kraft-Wise administration, we will not have transgenders in our school systems, end quote. Grayson Passmore has a reaction from LGBTQ plus organizations.
When the world constantly shows you every day that you don't belong, it's a rational thought to not want to be there.
As the executive director of Transcending Stigma, Alexander Griggs offers many services, like therapy for trans people of all ages. And now he offers a mentorship program that matches trans youth to trans adults.
I was born out of all of this anti-transgender legislation that's kind of coming through. There are a lot of parents of trans kids that are terrified, that are pleading for something to help their children.
A new concern for advocates like Griggs is recent remarks made by Kelly Kraft during the GOP's primary race for governor. Kraft's running mate, Senator Max Wise, sponsored Senate Bill 150, the law aimed at limiting rights of transgender youth in schools this year. And when asked how Kraft would, quote, combat the transgender agenda in classrooms, she noted the Wise-sponsored legislation, then said, quote, we will not have transgenders in our school, continuing to say, we will not have transgender, end quote. In a statement Wednesday, Kraft's campaign says, quote, of course Kelly was referring to the woke ideologies being pushed in our schools. Going on to say she has been advocating for the best for all children this entire campaign, end quote. But it's this rhetoric Griggs fears will be most harmful.
And as much as we try to provide these kids with as much stability as we can, that's also always a risk of, dysphoria and discrimination becoming too much for them to handle, and them taking their lives.
That was Grayson Passmore reporting. Transcending Stigma is Louisville-based. Griggs says its mentorship program also matches trans adults who have just started on their journeys with others who have been through it. Kelly Kraft's husband, Joe Kraft, made a stop in the mountains yesterday. He made his way to his hometown of Hazard to campaign on behalf of his wife. He discussed Kelly's dedication to Eastern Kentucky, but also gave his perspective on her absence from the most recent Republican gubernatorial debates.
If they were to have a civil debate, she would have been more than happy to be there. But it's not fair to the voters to be able to have a shouting match. So we elected to go ahead and just do a town hall, a teletown hall. that would give the voters the opportunity to hear her message. I would say she got 30 times many more questions she would have had she been in that debate that night.
Kelly Kraft was scheduled to make stops in Rockcastle, Clay, and Boyd counties yesterday, but will not be back in eastern Kentucky before the election. She'll be campaigning with Texas Senator Ted Cruz on Saturday in Louisville and Richmond. Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron held a news conference yesterday in Frankfort announcing a new program implemented by his office that's called It Helps to Know. Well, Attorney General Cameron says this program aims to protect Kentucky's kids from human trafficking and will help caregivers identify signs that a child may run away, provide more resources to find them, and debunk the myth that those who run away are not in danger. The AG is also running for governor and is not scheduled to campaign here in the mountains again before Tuesday's primary. 15 candidates have put their name in the hat for governor. 12 of those candidates are vying for the Republican nomination, while 3, including Governor Andy Beshear, want to represent the Democratic Party. Some of the other frontrunners in the GOP primary are visiting the mountains in the next few days. Agriculture Commissioner Ryan Quarles will be making stops in Whitley, Laurel, and Rockcastle counties today. Somerset Mayor Alan Keck will go on a 24-hour blitz across the state on Monday with stops scheduled in London, Manchester, Jackson, and Paintsville. We've reached out to Mike Harmon and Eric Dieters, but have not heard back from them as far as their plans between now and Tuesday. Early voting begins today. Secretary of State Michael Adams will be among those casting his ballot over in Louisville. We are just 5 days away from Election Day, but Laurel County's complete primary results will not be included. The State Board of Elections says its website will have cumulative results for the county, but not precinct-level results. In a statement, the board says the county's election vendor failed to program equipment in the agreed-upon manner. That is why Laurel County's results will not be uniform and show precinct-by-precinct results. Laurel County officials say that decision was made for privacy.
When we sent out ballots, we only did it by ballot styles. We don't do it by precinct level. We do it by a ballot style, just to protect the secrecy of the vote.
But the State Board of Elections worries the secrecy of ballots is not supported by law, and voters can be confident their vote will remain their vote. FEMA has approved nearly $16 million for the Kentucky Division Emergency Management in the wake of flooding last summer. The money goes toward utilizing contractors, rental equipment, and materials to provide supplies and commodities for those who were left homeless. Materials include mobile laundry, bathroom trailers, food and first aid kits, among others. And due to the magnitude of the storm, President Joe Biden has authorized a cost-share reimbursement of 100% federal funding for the project. All work and costs were between July 28th and August 26th. Applications for community development block grants are now open for those impacted by flooding in 2021 or 2022. Jordan Mullins reports on how these grants will help the region.
In March 2021 and July 2022, flooding impacted several communities across eastern Kentucky.
It was a devastating event that we went through. It's changed our lives forever. It's changed the landscape of some of these communities forever.
In Floyd County, many homes and families were affected twice in less than 18 months.
Sadly, a lot of the people, when we worked the flood in March of 21, I saw the same people in July of 22. So a lot of it's duplication.
In late April, Governor Andy Beshear announced funding by the Department of Housing and Urban Development through community development block grants for disaster relief, adding that several counties were eligible. Floyd County is one of many where folks are now in the application process, hoping to receive help and stay in their homes.
Being able to access dollars for folks to be able to, to repair or even reconstruct their home is going to be just a huge benefit for them.
Homeowners are eligible for up to $200,000 to help rebuild their homes, which community leaders hope will help keep folks in their hometown.
With the resources and the funding that's going to be available, it's going to afford us an opportunity to help these folks to get in quality housing here in Floyd County and they'll have something that they'll be proud of, and a new home going forward.
And provide safe, quality housing for those across the region. In Floyd County, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
If you were impacted by flooding in 2021 or 2022, you can contact your respective county's emergency management office for details on if you are eligible.
6:11 on this Friday Eve. We continue to track a little bit of sunrise across parts of the region. Let's go to the London Corbin Airport right now. Not too bad. A few clouds out there, but you can see the sky starting to light up. 54 down that way. Pressure right about 30 inches there of mercury. So again, we're pretty stable, pretty dry for the moment. But that high pressure will start to break down a little bit later today and give us the chance for a few spotty showers and storms. Humidity still high up there. Lots of moisture in the atmosphere right now. 61 Monticello, 46 Clintwood. A lot of 50s out there for the most part. And again, some places like Moorhead, Somerset, and Jackson right on the cusp of 60 again this morning at 59. Day planning for the rest of the day up to about 82 early this afternoon. And then temperatures will start to fall as we see a few spotty showers and the clouds start to take over. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. When we come back here on Mountain News this morning, the Biden administration plans to roll out new rules to curb border crossings into the country. Stay with us.